Where is your home? For some of you, the answer to that question is really easy. There's someplace in your life that immediately comes to mind when you say, home. It might be the place where you're sitting right now, home sweet home, watching this video. But for some of you, you might not be sure how to answer that question, where is my home? For example, when a young person is raised in a military family, they move around so many places around the country, around the world, it's sometimes hard to say really where they're from or where their home is. I've known some college students that when they were at college, their parents moved. And so the college student then is left without a real sense of belonging to a home anymore because the home that they grew up in has now been sold. Another challenge is for children of divorce. Is home where mom is, or is home where dad is? Perhaps neither place really feels complete. And then, of course, there's the experience of a person who immigrates from one country to another. Maybe what happens after you have immigrated is that your country of origin then changes so much that when you go back and visit, it doesn't feel like home anymore. Or maybe your kids have lived so long here in your new country that they're more comfortable here than in the place that you consider to be home. So where is your home? There's a basic human experience of restlessness or incompleteness that comes with the human condition, where we feel away from home and needing to return to our true home. And that experience is not a tragedy, it's actually a spiritual opportunity. I'd like to explore that in this Mass today. St. Augustine of Hippo wrote about that deep desire of our human heart, that deep inner restlessness. He says, "O Lord, you have made us for yourself, and our hearts are restless until they rest in you." That experience of wanting to return home was shared by the people of Israel in the first reading today from Jeremiah chapter 31. The Israelites had been conquered and exiled from their country and taken off to Babylon. And while they were there in Babylon, they always desired to go back home to Israel, to their own homeland. Jeremiah proclaimed God's word to them while they were there in exile in Babylon. He said, "I will bring them back from the land of the north. I will gather them from the ends of the world." And then the prophet Ezekiel also delivered a similar message to God's people. He said, "I will bring you home into the land of Israel. I will place you in your own land." That's in Ezekiel 37. So after that, after hearing those words of those prophets, the Israelites eventually did return to their homeland of Israel. And they were able to rebuild the temple in Jerusalem. And then they lived there for another 500 years before being conquered again and being scattered all over the planet. What about us? Where is my home? Where is your home? And what does our Christian faith teach us about those questions? Our faith teaches us that our true home is not here on this earth. Before we are ever Americans or Mexicans or Texans or whatever, we're citizens of heaven. That's why Paul says in Philippians 3, verse 20, our citizenship is in heaven. And then Jesus says in John chapter 14, "In my Father's house there are many rooms, and I will go to prepare a place for you." As Christians, we believe that heaven is our true home. And here on earth, we're just travelers on a journey. And you know, in one of the Eucharistic prayers in the Mass, we refer to ourselves as the pilgrim church on earth. We are on a pilgrimage as we make our way through this journey of life on this planet. The nations on this earth come and go, but the home that awaits us in heaven is eternal. Let me conclude with a few words that come from a beautiful poem that was written by Cardinal John Henry Newman. The poem talks about the light of Christ that leads us to our heavenly home. I'm just going to share with you just a few lines from that poem. Lead, kindly light, amid the encircling gloom. Lead thou me on. The night is dark, and I am far from home. Lead thou me on.